What's up, guys? We're going to look at a question one of a June paper. Okay, so let's get into it. Let's start off with 1.1, and the question is simplify the following expression fully. Okay, it's 1.1.1. Okay, let's look at it. So we have a third x squared y multiplied by 6x minus 9 over 2 x to the power of minus 2 y squared. Okay, so let's do this. So we're going to first multiply our first one here. So a third multiplied by 6 is going to give you 6 over 3, which is going to give you 2. Okay, and then we're going to go with the variable over there, x squared times the x, and you're going to get x cubed. And then obviously you're left with y. If you were to multiply that out now, there is no y in the term 6x, so we're just gonna have the y there. Okay, then we're gonna go again and we're gonna multiply the third x squared y with our 9 over 2 x to the power of minus 2 y to the power of 2. Okay, so you sitting here with a negative exponent here, x to the minus 2. Okay, so what we actually have is 9 over 2, and you are left with this x to the minus 2 here, right? So you could make it positive, right, by taking it down. Okay, if you were to take the x down, we could make the x, the exponent on the x positive. Remember, this x to the minus 2 is actually sitting on the numerator. Okay, so you're actually sitting with the x to the minus 2 on this numerator. So if we take this down over here and make it 9 over 2x squared, now you're sitting with a positive. Alright, so what can we do now? We can now say a third times 9x, 9 over 2x squared, right? So what is that going to look like now? That will now give you 1 times 9, which is going to give you 9, and 3 times 2, which is going to give you 6. And then remember, you have an x squared here, x squared, and here you have a x squared, right? You guys with me? And obviously you also have a y cubed on the numerator. So that's what your new numerator looks like now. Okay, you have the 9 on the top and you have your 6 at the bottom. So as you can see, this cancels. So what you actually left with now is 2x3y minus, okay, you can have a HCF here of 3. So basically what you can say is divide by 3, divide by 3. Okay, so 3 goes into 9 3 times, and 3 goes into 6 2 times. And remember, we're still left with a y cubed. Okay, and that is all there is to the sum. Okay, so that's the first sum done, and that was for 2 marks. Okay, let's look at the next question. Next one is 1.1.2, and we have a m plus 1 squared minus 9b squared. Okay, so what you've learned in school, that we can do the short method where we can say we square the first, we'll get m squared, square the last, we'll get 1, and twice the product. So we're going to say m times 1 is going to give me m, times 2 is going to give me 2m. So square the first, square the last, twice the product. Okay, and remember, you still have a minus 9b squared. Okay, and that's basically all there is to the sum. As you can see, there's no other like term, so we cannot do anything else to the sum, and it's only 2 marks. So as you can see there, it's basically a one-liner. Okay. All right, let's look at the next one. The next one says solve for x. Okay, so 1.3.1. So you sit in with 2x minus p and x minus r, okay, equals 0. So this is an equation, okay, and by the looks of it is, if you were to multiply it out, it might look like a trinomial, right? But we know what this looks like, right? We know what this looks like. So basically we can say, therefore x equals p over 2 or x equals r. Okay, this one is quite simple. And as you can see, it's also just 2 marks, okay? Alright, you guys with me? Let's look at another one. Okay, so the next one says, let's just get this away here. The next one says 1.3.2, 3 to the power of x minus 242 equals 3 to the power of 0. Okay, another standard equation. We know we can take this over. Right, so what we're going to be left with, we can now say that 3 to the power of x equals 3 to the power of 0 plus 242. Okay, then we can say 3 to the power of x. We know anything to the power of 0 is 1 plus 242. Okay, so you can obviously see where we're going with this now. So 3 to the power of x will equal 243, and 243 we know can be written as 3 to the power of 5, right? On this side we have 3 to the power of x, and now when the bases are the same over the equal sign, we now know that we can drop the exponent, right? So therefore x equals 5. Okay guys, alright, we still have one more sum left. It's worth 4 marks. Let's have a look at it. Okay, let me get this out of the way for you. Okay, let's have a look. So 1.4. So we have 2 to the power of x plus 2 multiplied by 7 over 2 to the power of x plus 4 minus 6 times 2 to the power of x plus 1. Okay. Alright, so here we can start by saying that 2 to the power of x plus 2 can be written as 2 to the power of x times 2 to the power of 2 times 7 all over. And here we can quite simply see that there is a common factor of 2 to the power of x, right? As you can see here, there's a 2 to the power of x and a 2 to the power of x. So let's do a common factor of 2 to the power of x. What am I left with? 2 to the power of 4 minus 6 times 2 to the power of 1, right? I hope you guys can see that. A little bit of factorization there on the bottom. Okay, so what am I left with here? We know these are going to cancel. Okay, and then 2 squared is going to give me 4, and 4 times 7 will give you 28 over, at the bottom you have 2 to the power of 4, which you know is 16, minus 6 times 2, which is 12, and 16 minus 12 is going to give you 4. Alright, and now we know that 4 is a factor of 28, so 4 goes into 28 how many times? And you guys have guessed it correctly, that is 7 times. Okay, and voila, just like that, we just did a few questions, all worth 13 marks, okay? Getting yourself ready for that June exam that your guys are going to be writing shortly. But I will upload some more for you guys. We'll do the rest of this paper, okay? Also, let me know whatever else you want in the comment section below. Please drop some likes, subscribe, and share. Until next time, guys.